And welcome to Dentizen. We are continuing with our topic of morphology and physiology of bacteria. In this topic, we have already discussed classification, different types of microscopes, different staining methods, and various shapes of bacteria in our previous videos. You can check those videos. And also, we started with bacterial anatomy in our last video, which we are going to continue in today's video. And in the last, we'll discuss growth and multiplication of bacteria in a separate video. So let's continue with bacterial anatomy. Before starting, quickly subscribe to Dentizen, tap on the like button and hit the bell icon so that you remain notified about new videos. So in the last video on bacterial anatomy, we discussed that a bacterial cell has an outer layer which is also called cell envelope, which is further made up of two layers, that is cell wall and plasma membrane, and inner to it is protoplasm, which is made up of cytoplasm, inclusions and nucleoid. And in today's video, we are going to discuss the cell wall appendages, which are the structures which are present over the surface of the bacterial cell and can be an important exam question for you. And then the atypical forms of bacteria and bacterial spores will take up in separate videos because they can come as separate questions. So let's start with the cell wall appendages. Now, three appendages that you need to remember. First one is capsule and slime layer. Second one is flagella, as we can see here. And the third one is fimbriae or pili. Now, what questions can come on these? That it can be a long question where you're asked to describe all the cell wall appendages in detail. There you have to write everything about them. Or there can be short notes on any one of these. Or the third type that can come is to describe the morphology of bacteria in detail and to add a note on the cell wall appendages. So this question can come in so many forms, and so it is very, very important for our exams. So let's start first with the capsule and slime layer. Now, some bacteria secrete an amorphous viscid material layer around their cell surface as we can see here, and this outside the cell wall is called glycocalyx. Now, if this layer is sharply defined structure as we can see here, this is called capsule. So, capsule is a sharply defined structure and it is well organized and not easily washed off. Example of bacteria which show capsule is pneumococcus. Now then, what is a slime layer? How it is different from capsule? Capsule is sharply defined, but slime layer is loose and undemarcated as we can see here. So this is slime layer. It is loose, it is undemarcated, it is diffuse, it is not organized properly. So and it can be removed easily. So that is slime layer. Example where we can see this slime layer is lichnostalk. Now this may be made up of polysaccharides, example in pneumococcus, or it may be made up of polypeptides, example in bacillus anthrax. So those can be your viva or entrance questions. Now, what are microcapsules? If a capsule is too thin to be seen under light microscope, then it is called a microcapsule. Micro means small. It is too thin. Now, some bacteria may have both slime layer and capsule. An example of such bacteria is Streptococcus salivarius. So, both capsule and slime layer, that can be your entrance question. Now, why these bacteria have capsule? What are the functions of these capsules? So, they prevent the desiccation of bacteria. They prevent their drying. They also protect bacteria from the action of certain enzymes like lysozymes and from bacteriophages. Not only that, they give virulence to bacteria. Their damage causing ability can be due to capsule. So what happens if there is a loss of capsule? Bacteria can become avirulent. Yes, that can be your important entrance question where you may be asked, loss of capsule will lead to what? And you have to look for the option where the answer is loss of virulence. So loss of capsule makes bacteria avirulent. So this capsule is toxic to host and it can cause abscess formation, pus formation. So those are the functions, and that is why bacteria have these capsules. Now, how do we see them? How do we demonstrate? Slime layer cannot be seen with gram staining, but capsule can be demonstrated with special methods. One such method we already discussed in our staining techniques, that is negative staining. So here India ink and nigrosin dyes are used where the capsule may be seen as a clear halo, as we can see here. This is a clear halo against the dark background. Example is in pneumococcus bacteria. So that is the negative staining method, and very, very important viva question. It can also come as a short note. Now, are there any other methods? Yes. Another method is Phadian capsule stain method. It can be used for Bacillus anthrax bacteria where the capsule stains purplish. So that is another method. Now, capsules can also give serological tests. Yes, because capsules are antigenic, they have antigens over them. So, one such reaction was described by Neufeld in 1902, that is, when the suspension containing bacteria with capsule is mixed with anti-capsular serum. So capsular is mixed with anti-capsular serum. There will be reaction, and what will happen? There will be swelling of the capsule. So this capsular swelling reaction is given a special name which is called Coulomb reaction, and that can be your important viva, entrance question or short note. So what is Coulomb reaction? It is a serological test where suspension containing bacteria capsules is mixed with anti-capsular serum leading to capsular swelling and is called Coulomb reaction, and was given by first described by Neufeld. So that is capsule and slime there, the difference between the two, their functions of capsule, and then demonstration. Now let's move to the next appendage, that is flagella. Flagella are thread-like appendages. As you can see here, so this is flagella. It is thread-like, and it is protruding from the cell wall. It is coming out from the cell wall. Its dimensions, it is 3 to 20 micrometers in length, and it is about 0.01 to 0.013 microns in diameter. What about its thickness? It is just 0.02 micrometer thick, so it cannot be seen with light microscope. Then what is it made up of? It is made up of a protein which is called flagellin protein. That can be asked in viva. What are flagella made up of? They are made up of protein, flagellin. What is their role? What is their function? They are the organs of locomotion. That means they help in the movement of bacteria. So they are responsible for the motility of bacteria. Very, very important viva question. Now, what is the ultrastructure of flagella? It is not as simple as it looks here. When we look it under the electron microscope, it further has three parts. The first part is called filament, which is the longest portion. This is the filament, and it extends from the cell surface to tip. So if we see here, it is extending from the cell surface to the tip. So this is the filament of the flagella. And when we try to put it against the bacterial cell wall in the ultrastructure, as we discussed in the gram-negative bacterial cell wall. So this is the outer membrane, this is the peptidoglycan layer in the periplasmic space, and this is plasma membrane. So where is this filament? So this filament is above the cell surface here. So that is, it extends from the cell surface to the tip. So if we try to put it over the cell, so we can see that it is like this. So filament is extending from the cell surface to the tip. Then second portion is the hook. Hook is the part by which the filament is attached. So there is a ring. So this ring is attached to the lipopolysaccharide of the outer membrane here. Then another ring is there, which is attached to the peptidoglycan layer of the cell wall, as we can see here. And then there is a rod. As you can see this is the rod part that is between the outer and the inner parts. So below that rod there is another ring which is just above the cell membrane, and then there is another ring through which it is attached to the inner membrane or the plasma membrane. So that is M ring. So many rings are there. So hook and the basal body are within the cell envelope, whereas filament is outside to it. So those are the three parts, that is filament, hook and basal body. Parts. Now what can be the different arrangements of flagella? Do bacteria have only one flagella? No, some bacteria may have so many flagella. So different arrangements can be when there is just one flagella, then it is called monotrichous. Mono means single, like this. So examples are Vibrio cholerae, Pseudomonas and Campylobacter. So they have one flagella, they are monotrichous. What about if the bacteria have tough flagella at one end? Then it is called lophotrichous, as we can see here, example in Spirilla. So there can be a tough bacteria but at one end. Then what about bacteria if it is present all around? Peritrichous. Peri means around. So peritrichous when it is all around the bacterial cell surface. For example, in Salmonella typhi, Escherichia coli. And when it is only present at two ends, then it is called amphitrichous, like this, at two opposite ends. Example is Alkali genes faecalis. So those can be important examples for your entrance question and viva question. Now, how do we see these flagella? They are such small structures. Can we see them? So their direct demonstration is little difficult, but they can be detected under electron microscope. We can see the structure, filament hook, basal body. They can be seen with tannic acid staining, which is called Lipson method. But as direct demonstration is difficult, so we usually look for the motility of bacteria. So means if we can see the motile bacteria, that means they have flagella. So their indirect method of demonstration is by demonstrating the motility of bacteria. And how do we demonstrate motility? By Craigie tube method, then by hanging drop method, by semi-solid media, where these motile bacteria may show spreading growth, and then dark ground or phase contrast microscopy. So these flagella may be mordanted, that is, their mordants can be added to them to make them thicker, and that can make them visible. So that is flagella, the ultrastructure, arrangement, and the methods of detection. Now let's move on to the a special question that can be asked, that is, where do you see darting motility? Darting type of movement is seen in Vibrio cholera bacteria. Don't forget that can be important by one entrance question. So the third appendage is Fimbriae or Pili. So they are seen in some gram negative bacteria, and they are short, fine, hair-like. Flagella were thread-like, so this is flagella, whereas Fimbriae are hair-like, short and fine. So what do you think? They are shorter than flagella? Yes. So they are shorter and thinner than flagella. Their size is just 0.5 micrometer in length and less than 10 nanometer in thickness. So we cannot see them with light microscope. And they are made up of protein, which is pillin. Flagella were made up of flagellin. Pili are made up of pillin. Now what is their function? Their role is bacterial adhesion. So they are organs of adhesion, that is, they help the bacteria in attachment to the cell surface. So it is totally different from flagella. One special type of pili, which is called sex pilus, which helps in the conjugation process, that is, transfer of genetic material from one bacteria to another. They have antigens, but the antibodies which are formed against them are not protective. So they are not responsible for motility, very important point to remember, but they are responsible for adhesion. So they can be seen in both motile as well as non-motile bacteria. Now what are the different types of Fimbriae? First one, common pili or Fimbriae, as we can see here. So these are the normal organs of adhesion. They help in the attachment of bacteria. Second one is sex pili, as we can see here. They are little longer and they are fewer in number. So what is their role? They are usually present on male bacteria, through which they attach to the female bacteria, and they form a conjugation tube through which the genetic material is transferred. So they help in the conjugation process. That can be important by a question. What is the role of sex pilus? That is conjugation process. Now how do we detect them? So they can be seen with electron microscope, and these can form surface pellicle, that means a thin layer over the liquid culture of strongly aerobic bacteria. Example in Pseudomonas, like this. So you can see this layer, this is called surface pellicle, which may be formed due to presence of Fimbriae. Another simple method by which we can detect Fimbriae is heme agglutination, and that can be very important by one entrance question. That method by which we can demonstrate, we can detect Fimbriae or pili is heme agglutination method. Don't forget that. So that is all about the cell wall appendages, the three types: capsule and slime layer. Capsule is well defined, slime layer is loose, undemarcated. Then flagella, which are the organs of locomotion, they help in the movement. And then Fimbriae or pili, which are the organs of adhesion, and they help in the conjugation. Now let's check what have you learned. So identify the structure A. What are the methods of demonstration of this structure? Identify the structure B. What are its functions and what are its types or different types of arrangements? Question number 3. Identify the structure C. It is made up of what protein and what is its function? And the last one, identify D and what is its function. So that is all for this video. If you really enjoyed the video, do tap on the like button and share this video with your friends. Keep watching, keep learning, keep smiling. See you in the next video soon. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.